Is there a fly?
And welcome, guys. It's Off the Mat Podcast here with my co-host, Mr.
Keith McMillan. Sorry, guys. My big behind is trying to get in the chair right now.
I wouldn't go that far, but he's trying to get in the chair. And then our guest here with us, Mr. Mike Murray,
What's going on?
Magic Mike Murray.
How you guys doing?
You like that nickname? I just came up with it
Nah,
just now.
I don't like that nickname.
Nope, we're
That's
not going with that. Have
probably
you
not.
decided on a nickname yet?
No, I'm gonna try to not have a nickname. I think.
Wait,
Best way-
Ty kept saying danger. Is that not?
Oh yeah, Danger.
No,
That's what we're going with,
I
right?
don't like that one. Because
Danger.
then imagine if you fight somebody that has a nickname of Danger.
That's you.
Yeah, but then that puts on more pressure towards me. Like you have to be dangerous.
You are dangerous.
You are
though.
dangerous.
Yeah, but like when I think of dangerous, I'm like GSP, John Jones.
That's the last person I think of when I think of dangerous.
Who do you
GSP?
GSP, yeah. I mean, he finished Bisping, but I mean, like they have like a history, and he knew he can dominate Bisping. I wouldn't think of like the wrestler GSP.
Let's be real. GSP, he was killing the game back when USADA wasn't really, stomping around.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
I'm just saying that you have to consider that.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not saying anything specific. I'm just saying that is a factor, and that's something that you should raise your eyebrow at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of that though back then.
Oh yeah.
Are you crazy in the head, man? Like you think he was on
What?
steroids?
Is this your GSP
That's the
impersonation?
worst. Hey, I tried, guys.
You
I'm
tried.
not impressed by your performance.
That was pretty good.
I try.
All right, we're here with Mike Murray. No nickname yet. Mike Murray, you're from?
From Kansas City,
Born and raised.
born and raised. Yep.
Never been outside of Missouri. All right, so we're done here, guys.
Not really. Not until I was in the military that I left home. But yeah, I've always been in Kansas City growing up. Never knew anything about an MMA gym until I was like 20-something years old, honestly.
What was it like? What was your childhood like? Like, what type of kid were you? Were you like emo? Were you you always been the same? Were you a lady killer, or like what's going on with you?
I was always trying to just hang out with my friends, be as athletic. I was always into like every sport, no matter what it was. It didn't matter if it was kickball or wrestling or anything like that. I was always just trying to be as active as possible. I was always just into sports, honestly. Never had an emo phase, thank God. I'm sure my parents are probably a little happy about that as well.
You're still going through it, actually.
I do get emotional at times. No, I just kind of one of those people. Had good friends growing up.
Yeah.
And then high school is just probably your normal high school kid, a little rebellious, I guess you could say. But I was never like.
I could see you being the
The
kid to
star
like
athlete.
start a riot in high school.
No, I was never the star athlete. I was always like that. Could like maintain a varsity spot on the wrestling team, but I was never like that star that they're like, oh, that kid wrestles.
Did you ever go to state or anything?
Nope, never,
Okay.
never.
Smoke cigarettes or anything?
Uh,
'Cause when you say a little rebellious in high school, like I
like I was
feel
down, like I was down to clown, but I wasn't like.
I was down to clown. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
what's the clown part? Like, I need to get specific. 'Cause,
I
like,
don't know, just a normal
I-
high school kid going to parties and
the
whatnot.
ladies.
No,
Just guys.
just stay to myself.
That's
Stop,
funny.
Jesus.
Buddy.
Just stay to myself. Yeah, and then went into the military. I needed a little bit of discipline.
Did you go like straight out of high school into the military?
Yeah, I was not I never really got the best grades.
So, because obviously that's the first option for a lot of kids when they understand they're not going to state college or anything, and they don't want to go to community college. Was like the military your only option? Like, what was did you have a passion? Like, were you an artist? Were you like,
Bro, worst artist ever.
Okay.
Can't draw even a stick figure.
So what were your like interests though whenever you were like going through school? Did you have like an idea as far as like when I grow up I want to be a cowboy? You know, like
Not really, honestly. I was interested in wrestling, but I didn't think I was going to go anywhere with it. I mean, obviously not going to state even has, something to say about that. But I was always just like a real little kid growing up. I think my freshman year, I wrestled at 103 pounds. And I think I graduated wrestling at like 145-ish or so.
yeah,
So,
you were
like,
little.
Yeah, I was always little. So I didn't have any, and I didn't start wrestling until like 6th, 7th grade. A lot of the guys that are winning state every year are starting wrestling.
Yeah, their whole lives.
Real young.
You don't realize that by time, because I didn't play football till my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realize like the star athletes or the killers upon any sports, like, oh, you've been bred to do this your whole life.
Yeah, those
No,
are the,
for sure.
Yeah, the test tube athletes
And-
right there.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And just the like you don't see that hard work that they put in behind closed doors, growing up. Whether it's their dad pushing them or their coach or whoever, you just see this really good athlete and you're like, why are they so good? Like this guy does the same stuff I do, but really they've been putting in that work, their whole lives compared to you. So took a while to really figure that out about sports in a way. Is you had to start early to continually be successful. You couldn't just like start in the middle because these guys had already started way down the road.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, until we talk about your MMA experience so far, because you are undefeated, 3-0. So obviously that wrestling can play a factor,
Mm-hmm.
especially. I mean, I know you have a deep knowledge of jiu-jitsu, and you're growing in your striking, but I think like now we're in the age to where if you can specialize at this level, amateur level, you specialize in one thing, you can dominate. Just at this level.
I agree, but that's why I've been like working religiously with Phil and Nick and other people that even just holding mitts is because at this level you might be able to dominate, but
Right.
I want to take it to as far as I can take it, and I understand you have to start now doing that stuff. So later on, you're not playing catch up, like we were
Right.
talking about earlier. You're not playing catch up with this stuff, and that's a big thing, is starting now rather than starting later.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an older guy in the game, so I understand what you mean by starting later. But before we get straight into the MMA career, the Marines. Where were you? What was boot camp like? Because if you had to go for discipline,
You started laughing.
and then that boot
I
camp
imagine
hits
you lacking all kinds of fucking discipline going into boot camp. Like you're like, I'm gonna yell at my staff sergeant in the face. Like I imagine you being
I was
that guy.
I was that guy.
Like you thought you were gonna yell back at your staff sergeant, and we lost his mic. I got
Oh.
you, dog. I'm gonna fix you up real quick.
Well, I'll keep going
Here,
because
you
I
can
knew
talk.
I had a few people
There you go.
that like went to the military, and then like all of a sudden I'd see them like 2 months later,
There we go.
and they'd be like, I'm like, what happened? They're like, yeah, we left.
Say something.
Hello?
All right, you're plugged in.
Sorry, guys.
We're good. We're all fixed up. Anyway, so yeah, you're in the military.
So
You're going to
Um,
boot camp. You're a dick to your staff sergeant.
No, I was not a dick because they will fuck
They
you up.
Yeah, they put that. They put
For
a-
sure. I went in just like a disgruntled, just a disgruntled teenager, and boot camp. It's one of the military, or at least my experience in the military was, while you're in it and while you're doing it, you hate it, and you hate every moment of it, and then you look back and it's just like, oh my god,
Something you appreciate.
you're like, I can't
Right.
believe I did that. You appreciate it, but it's almost like a joke. You're like, really? They're treating grown men like children at times. Just like boot camp alone was just a huge joke now that I look back on it. But you're so, I
In
guess.
what sense? What do you mean? It's like, how is it a joke? Because like I've known like family members that went to boot camp that were like athletes beforehand, and they were like, yeah, the physical piece of boot camp, fucking hilarious. I thought I was gonna get out of shape.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because I think the physical part, I psyched myself out for so bad.
You thought it was gonna be like brutal, and then you
It's
were like, this isn't that bad.
99% mental.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose when you eat or sleep, or even how much you eat or sleep. It's all mental. It's all a huge mental game. You don't get to choose anything you do, what you wear. You're just, you're being trained.
Right.
So
To follow orders.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like the first stage, is them just like breaking you down all the way, and then they mold you and bring you back up. So they got to break that foundation, because think of how many, I think we had like 79 in just our platoon, but think of how many people go through that are like disgruntled teenagers with bad attitudes. They got to break them down.
Yeah.
So they have to break down the entire platoon. So like it comes at you with, a force. And I did get in trouble in boot camp. You never want to be that guy that gets called out, But I definitely.
What'd you get called out for? You got to tell us at least one call out story, the best one.
So, like the third day I was there,
Do you have a nickname? What they call you?
they called me the Joker.
Ah, yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I love it.
yeah, they called me the Joker because
Oh, I can only imagine.
you had these like grown kids crying and missing home and this and that, and I was just kind of just like laughing about it. I'm thinking, dude, this is awesome. Like we're in San Diego, just training to be killers. Like, why are you mad? Like, what are you crying about? Like,
You mad, bro?
yeah, like, oh my God, we don't have our phone. Who cares? The third day I was there, we were outside the chow hall, and I just was like pissed off to be there. I was so mad.
Right.
And it was just that part of them breaking you down. And they like pointed me out, and they're like, that kid has a freaking attitude. They yanked me out by my collar, yanked me out of, a formation, and they're like, go up to the squad bay, which is like, the squad bay is where you sleep. So there's like, 79 of us sleep. So it's just bunk beds, and then just like the floor, and that's it. And then you have these big, huge metal bins, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
that you put all your stuff in.
Right.
So they're like, we'll give you a good attitude adjustment. And they were like, in 100 seconds, you have to take all of those. They're called some type of locker. You got to bring them and drag them out to the middle of the floor in 100 seconds. And me being me, I'm like grabbing these and just throwing them as hard as I can out there and just slamming them. And I did it. And they look at me and they're like, good. Now put them all back in 100 seconds. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and then
You did not do that in 100
not
seconds.
not in 100 seconds. So then they're like, all right, you still have an attitude. Get all your belongings and go tell the senior drill instructor. So there's like 3 ranks in the drill instructor,
Chain of command.
Yeah, chain of command, right? And so like the highest guy is your senior drill instructor. They're like, sit outside his office with all of your belongings, and when he walks by, you tell him you don't want to be a Marine anymore and you quit. And I was like, I will not do that. And they're like, oh, you will. So like I sat there and he walks by.
Oh,
And he
man,
was
this is tough. Like, I'm getting anxiety you just telling me this.
And he is just the most intimidating man I've ever seen in my life.
So wait, you ended up doing this? So you're standing?
I was told to. I had to. So
Okay.
I'm standing outside with all my stuff from his office. And he like walks in, and he was kind of a southern boy, and he goes, "What you doing out here, boy?" And I was like, "Sir, this recruit was told that he doesn't want to be a Marine anymore, and I was told to tell you, and I quit." And he's like, "Ain't no one in my fucking platoon quits." He's like, "Put your shit back, and don't let me see you again being a problem child." And I was like, "Okay." And from then on out, it was pretty good. I wasn't called out single-handedly after that, but that definitely put the fear of God in me hard. And also, when those guys go to sleep, there's 78 other guys that know you're the problem, and you're causing everyone else to be fucked up and get in trouble. So
Did you get fucked up?
I didn't, thank God.
But people did?
Other people might have got a couple hands at night, but it was like, they fell down the stairs when they were going to the bathroom.
Dude, that's fucking crazy that you guys like have that mentality. Like, I don't fully get it because I wasn't a part of that lifestyle, but that's crazy. Like, you guys had to do extra whatever that day because of this problem.
Oh yeah.
And then you guys are up at night just fucking that person up.
Yo, did you put hands on someone?
Yeah, actually we did get a little handsy with somebody. So one of the biggest rules is you're not allowed to eat food in boot camp, like at all. Like they could, like when I say they control your eating and your sleeping.
Like, unless it's like chow time, you don't
Exactly.
eat at all.
So in the chow hall, they had these little peanut butter packets and
This motherfucker swipe some.
and crackers. And one day we're like sweeping to the center of the floor because you would clean your area every morning, and the drill instructor was walking by, and I was sweeping to the middle of the floor, and he walks by me and he was like, "Murray, what the fuck is that?" And he just picks this up, and it was like 5 a.m. or whatever time it is. You don't have a sense of time. There's no watches even. You don't know anything. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, I don't know. So he puts his finger on the ground and he goes, "You eating in here?" And I had swept it up. Well,
Yeah.
the kid.
Was it just like peanut butter itself, or one of the
it
peanut
was
butter packets?
No, it was crackers.
Oh, okay.
So it was cracker crumbs, and so everyone thought I had been eating.
Okay.
And so like we're already like a month and a half in, so the whole platoon is like on board just to beat the fuck out of me.
Oh,
And it's
man.
early in the day too.
You're stressing.
It's-
Right.
Oh, I am stressing so hard. Oh my god,
I'm stressing for you, bro.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
this was years ago, but I'm feeling you right now.
it was not a very comfortable time. So anyway, I was like trying to like tell everybody like it was not me, blah blah blah, you know.
Right.
And come to find out, the kid next to me had been eating, but then he would eat next to my rack at night, and then that way the crumbs would fall on my
Yeah, I do the
side.
same shit.
And so, no, he was super smart about it, right? But then karma came back to him, and he did get a little fucked up.
Wait.
How did
Karma came back to him, or did
How did it get cleared up? Yeah, how did it get cleared up?
Well, I had to talk to the drill instructor one-on-one, and I didn't eat anything on my plate that day for morning breakfast. I was stressing that bad. Like, I was so scared.
Right.
And I didn't eat anything at all, and, you know, they're normally not like, why didn't you eat anything? But he kind of just gave me this look of like, you didn't eat anything on your tray. But I just had this terrible feeling in my gut.
Yeah.
And I like put my stuff down, and he kind of looks at me. He's like, Murray. He's like, recruit Murray, come over here. And he's like, you got something to say to me? And I was like, is this guy about to fight me? And I was like, sir, this recruit, because you don't even have a name.
Right.
You have to say this recruit for yourself
You're
in reference
this-
to yourself?
Yes, you're this recruit, that recruit. Like everything is, you know, you don't even have you never say I one time. If you say I, you're done. You're gonna die. So, because it's all about like the team mentality and that team atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I was like, this recruit was not eating. This recruit would never do that. I understand, tell him I understand the rules and blah blah blah. And anyway, he's like, I don't think you were doing that, but all the evidence points towards you. Is pretty much what he said. So it got cleared up. It wasn't me. It was the kid next to me. A couple hours later.
What, did he just like
No.
fess up?
So what they did is then they checked. They lined us all up randomly. Like we had no time to like put trash away or anything. They lined us all up, and they were like, "All right, everybody stand. Get all your uniforms out and stand still and open up your lockers, right?" And they went through everyone's locker one by one, all their pockets and everything. And this kid, they pulled out cracker wrappers, and everyone looked at him and was like, "You're dead. You're dead." So he got a little messed
So you
up.
had some personal vengeance on this guy. You were like, this motherfucker was about to
Well,
let me
'cause
go down for
and he
some
slept
shit.
right next to me, and he looked at me like
He was framing me.
he was like, burn him. Like he was all for it. He's like, yeah, I can't believe you're gonna eat in here. Make
That son of a bitch. You should have put hands on him.
me. I didn't need to because 2 days later in training, he snapped his leg. He was jumping in like some obstacle, and he shattered his whole leg. Like it was bad. And anyway, our drill instructor, this is kind of savage and a little fucked up, but our drill instructor turns behind us because the way you have to do these obstacles and drills and whatnot, they have everyone like lined up in these bleachers and whatnot, and you go in rows.
Mhm.
And he looks back, and I was in platoon 1023, Bravo Company, and he looks back and he's like, ears 23, and you're like, yes sir. And he goes, that's why you never fucking eat in my platoon. And he's like,
Whoa.
and then all of us are like, we're going crazy. Like, we're so happy. And he's like, you eat my platoon, and Karma will be here to make sure you don't make it another day in here. And then, like, dude, it was just things like that. Like I said earlier, you look back and like, that was so funny. But at the time, you're like, oh my God, this is so scary. Like, you're cheering because some guy just broke his leg. But you know how messed up that is?
It's fucking crazy.
It's extremely crazy.
Over some crackers?
They broke the rules, man.
Bro.
Don't break the rules.
Clearly not. I don't think crackers are enough for a broken,
Bruh.
for a broken leg.
Bruh,
But
yo.
you know what?
Those do not equate in my book.
God.
They're not the same thing there.
That's crazy though. I love boot camp stories in the sense of, because I used to eat everything up, whether they were real or not. And I remember we had a couple of kids from my graduating class go to Marines, and he told me, and that could be totally a fake story, that like to break you mentally, they like lock everyone in a room, and you would have to like survive for X amount of time, hours or minutes, but it'd be like a pitch black room.
I personally didn't ever have to do that, but I believe that
That's a real story.
Because every drill instructor has their own ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
They have by the book things that they have to do.
How many follow the book?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's keep going.
Not a lot. There's certain people that walk around with rank on their collar and whatnot, and you got to play by the book. But when they're out of the room, I mean, it's your platoon. You do what you want, and if your guys are messing up that day, you'll deal with them. So, I mean, I do believe that probably happened, but thank God it didn't happen to me.
Yeah, he said it was like a hot day in Florida, wherever he was stationed at. So I don't know all the bases, but he was stationed
Boot camps in
Marine.
either Parris Island, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said it was hot, and they just locked him in. He said like one by one, like half the squad or whoever was in the room just started breaking.
I got so lucky. I got sent to San Diego. It was 79 and sunny every day.
Damn.
It was beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But there was an airport literally like 100 feet away from us, so you just see these planes leaving all the time, and you're just wishing. After every plane goes by, you're like, man, I wish I was on that plane right now.
Getting the
And
fuck out of here.
You hear it at all hours of the night too, as well. So it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah, the weather's good, but you're just getting teased with all these flights just going home.
Yeah.
But
How many? This is me questioning because I knew a very, very beautiful girl that was a Marine in San Diego. How many women were in your in boot camp? And did you fall like
zero.
you meet anyone?
No
Okay.
females. And I was told very early on by my drill instructors that there's things in your career path that could break you or could get in the way of that. And we were always just told, like, don't do anything that could even think about crossing the line with them,
Right.
So if you go out and have a drink, like, make sure your buddies are with you, kind of thing. It was never like, I don't know. They just were, telling us to make sure someone there has our back and we have a witness and things like that, because things did happen and people with high ranks, were getting busted down. Not that they didn't do anything wrong, but but there were instances where, you're like, wow, that guy was a staff sergeant and now he's a PFC all because of this. Like, come on, man, you're better than that.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
That's my curiosity.
I think the women, the women train on Parris Island, and the women don't train with the men over on the East Coast until MCT, which is right after boot camp.
Okay.
So, yeah, I never actually had any women in my platoon or in the Marines at all until I went to my communications school, and then that's when.
Wow, she was in communications too.
Maybe we know each other.
I'll show you a photo later.
Stop.
But yeah, that's crazy, man. So you go through boot camp and then you're stationed where?
So you go through boot camp, then you go through if you're not a grunt, you go through this thing called MCT, which is like Marine Combat Training. Basically, everyone's just like trained up real quick on the guns, and you do a lot of hikes, a lot of 9, 10, 12-mile hikes with rucks and things like that on you. And it actually was worse than boot camp. It was the worst month ever. Just because, like, now that you are a Marine, now you're held to this high standard.
You have expectations.
And you have expectations, but they also can do way more to you, to make sure your life sucks.
Yeah, like it lasts a lot longer.
Exactly, and that's only like a month and a half, I think. And then you went to your communication school, and then or whatever school you're going to, no matter if you're going to be a cook or, whatever. And then you get your paperwork, and they're saying this is where you're going. And I got super lucky. All of my guys in class were going to go to Japan, and I got put in North Carolina.
Wow.
Everybody was going to Japan. They're like, all right, the whole class is going to Japan except one of you. And we were all like, oh,
so wait, you were the only person in the class that didn't go to Japan?
Yeah.
Holy shit. How many people are in the class?
Probably like 35, 36.
That's pretty fucking lucky.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to Japan. I didn't have any interest at the time to go to Japan.
That'd be kind of cool, though, to go to Japan.
Well, once I saw my friends there, and they got... The thing is, like, the country itself is super beautiful, but being in the military there or being a Marine there, you have extremely strict guidelines and expectations at all times because you're in a foreign country. So
Oh yeah.
you can't, if
It's
you
very
mess,
sensitive.
if you mess up or mess with their culture or
It's the country.
exactly like we're there on their land kind of thing. So they were way more strict for those Marines, and so I think their lives in some ways sucked, but in other ways it's like you get a 4-day weekend, and my buddies were like snorkeling off the coast and
Yeah.
doing all this super cool stuff, going to like all over the place, just experiencing a different culture, which
Do they have to learn Japanese?
no,
No.
which that would be kind of cool, but
Yeah.
no.
I don't want to brag. I'm just like you were in the Marines. I'm a tough guy too. And my friends.
How long were you in Scouts?
My friends got Disney contracts
Mhm.
to play the characters over in Japan. And
Like
they would so basically Disney recruits Americans to go to there to play Aladdin.
this is like actual place.
Yeah, and
Oh, I thought you meant,
in their Disney World.
Oh, okay.
So but they had strict guidelines, and one of them actually got arrested for messing with a girl, and it was like very dangerous. Like they wanted to put him in there for years.
Yeah, they don't mess around over there, man.
Yeah.
That's
He
crazy.
like met a girl at a nightclub. Like he went to some nightclub
Yeah.
and messed with the girl, and I don't know what happened. So I don't want to even fabricate a story. But something happened. He got arrested by the government, and they wanted to give him like a lot, like 10, 20
They don't
years.
mess around. Yeah.
Wow.
And like America, like we had to get him out of there.
Yep.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I mean, it was the basketball players that stole in China.
Oh, yeah,
over there,
oh.
and then, they were like, "We're gonna throw you in jail for stealing and blah blah blah," and we had to get them out of there as well.
Yeah, over some sunglasses. They stole sunglasses. It was one of the. It was Lonzo's Ball. Like
It was one of the Ball brothers.
One of the Ball brothers. The
Yeah.
middle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The UCLA went over there.
Yeah.
The college team went over there, and they stole sunglasses, and they were like in big trouble.
Yep.
Where were they at?
It was some Asian. I think it was China. Or
It was China.
Japan. Was it China?
It was China.
Okay.
Jesus.
But yes, they don't play. That's my little 2 cents. So as the Marines, you guys are going over there. I had friends in Disney, so I get it.
Yeah.
But you went to North Carolina.
Yeah, I went to North Carolina, and it was completely different. So actually, the day I checked into my unit, so you check into your unit, and the day I checked in, some high-ranking official walks in, and he's like, "Are you PFC Murray?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And
You're
he
like,
goes,
fuck yeah, sir.
I wanted to say
Yes.
that, but he'd have whooped my ass.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, you're in luck. We're going on deployment. Don't unpack anything. You're going to be moving to such and such in 2 months."
Where were you going? Can you say?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we were going on a MEU, is what it's called. It's a Marine Expeditionary Unit, is what you are. You're just on ship, and you're like the 911 of the ocean. So like, when things were happening in Egypt in 2013, maybe is when we were on ship. We were like stationed, I guess you could say, like outside of there, waiting just in case anything bad happened, or like if something bigger popped off in the Middle East, or we were like first aid if a humanitarian aid or a huge hurricane came
Sure.
through. So we were kind of all over the Middle East and Europe and whatnot, and it sucks being on ship. Like 90% of that deployment was awful, just because you're stuck on ship, you're eating the same thing every day, all you see is water, like you don't even see land. But the other 10%, I mean, being 19, 20 years old, getting a little paycheck every couple weeks, and going to Israel and Greece and Spain and Germany and getting to experience the world, for free, essentially, was super cool. And I fell in love with learning other cultures and just how they do things, and like tattoos. Like when I was in Kuwait, we were in Kuwait for like 3 months, and we had to cover all of our tattoos. Well, Marines are just, it's weird.
Covered in tattoos.
Yeah, like people just have like ink shops in their barracks rooms,
Right.
So everyone, we had to like wear long sleeves or like cover our tattoos and whatnot, and we had to like follow their customs and courtesies, and it was really cool to see. But then you're over there and you realize how much oil, or how much oil really, is there and generates a ton of money. And it's just like Maseratis on Maseratis and like super nice cars, and they're building structures like in Dubai is nuts. you know, and there's just so much money outside of what you see in daily life, like just in America or like on social media and whatnot. But like see it in person, you're like, wow, this is sweet.
Dude, yeah, there's stupid money out there. Like that Abu Dhabi card for the Zach's gonna be on. They're literally building a stadium and they're gonna tear it down in 2 weeks.
For Zach's fight?
For that pay-per-view. They're building a stadium, they're having the pay-per-view, and then 2 weeks later they're tearing it down.
Oh my god.
When you
I did not
do you
know
imagine that? You want to build a stadium this weekend, have the Super Bowl? Fuck it. We can afford it.
I didn't even think of it like that.
That's crazy.
That is awesome.
What were you saying, Keith?
So when you traveled, right, because you said you got to experience different cultures, leaving Kansas City, and you can be cautious with this answer, were your friends primarily white? Like, were you just like all like
growing up, like in high school and stuff?
Yeah, like all white friends, all white everything, you know, like.
I would say predominantly, but I mean, I was friends with the basketball team and the football team. Like, I didn't really have. It was never like, you know, like that.
So you never.
That was the thing that I love. I think the thing that I love about the Marines the most was, it didn't matter what color you were. It didn't matter about your religion. It didn't matter that your family was super rich or you came from nothing. You guys were either the same rank or doing the same job.
Right.
And you guys were wearing the same uniform and representing the same country. So it really opened my eyes leaving Kansas City and experiencing, you know, not just other cultures, but, you know, other Marines and other people's lives and how they grew up in America. You know, you're thinking, because I grew up pretty blessed, I would say, you know, like I was an extremely blessed kid growing up. And then you hear about all these other stories and you're like, what the hell?
Right.
Like, oh my God. And I can't believe I used to complain that, you know, my mom didn't get the right chips at the store or something stupid.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. So it definitely made me more grateful
That's good.
than I anticipated it to be.
Yeah.
And then, so did the MEU. The MEU was cool, but it was just not really my thing. I had always, like, when I joined the Marines, my goal was, like, to serve my country, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I did this MEU, and I'm like, man, come on. Like, I need to get out of this unit. There was a lot of toxic people in that unit that I was with. You know, and it's very political, trying to gain their, you know, next rank or whatever it could be. And I had also gotten in trouble in that unit on deployment as well. So I
Can we ask?
I was trying to kind of exit from that unit, but yeah. So long story short,
You can be cautious. Don't worry.
No, it's cool. I mean, I'm out now. They can't do anything to me now. So, long story short, there was a superior, and everyone had like ship duties while on deployment, and for like a month you had to do some type of cafeteria duty, or whether it was like clean this place.
Everyone's got to have the shit job at least once.
Yeah. So I had my monthly duties, and there was people from like your platoon doing it with you.
Right.
And so one of my guys was moving really slow, and man, I just wanted to get out of there that day. I was like, I had all my dishes done, like everything was clean, and he was just being slow, so slow. And so I went out to, you know, be like, yo, let's fucking go, like, come on now. And I start like just wiping his tables down and doing this. He's like, what are you doing? This is my job. I'm like,
you're not doing it.
I'm like, dude, let's go.
Right.
So he gets in front of me and puts his arm out and was just like, you are not going to do this anymore. And I was like, you know, I respect your rank, but do not touch me.
Wait, who is this? Is this the staff sergeant? Or
no, this is a corporal to me. So he's one rank higher at the time.
Okay.
So,
but he's in your platoon and he's just going slow.
Yeah.
As fuck.
So I was a radio operator, and
Okay.
he was a data Marine. So he was like a computer nerd in a way, right?
Okay.
And so he was in my platoon, but like a different section of my platoon.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. And so I just was like, dude, do not touch me. Like, you know, I don't like to be touched. So I tried to go to the other side of him, and he put his other arm out. And I was like, Harrigan, if you touch me again, I'm going to fuck you up. And he did not think I was being serious. And we've been on ship for like three months straight, like eating the same thing, disgruntled. You're putting these tiny racks.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're just cooped up.
And you're an easily agitated
Yes.
person to begin with. Let's
Yes.
fucking put that out there. Let's not act like you're a perfect angel that doesn't get annoyed.
So I was very agitated. He did it again, and I just grabbed him by his throat and I
Stabbed him.
I leg swept him, and I threw him on his head, and his head just bounced off that ground hard, and he gets up, and he goes right to the top of the chain of command and wanted to press all these charges.
So he just rolled out and snitched.
Straight up, yep. And so, anyway, I then became famous on ship for being the Marine that choke slams his corporal,
Right.
which is not a good title to have.
No.
So that kind of started coming up. So then I got NJP'd, and
What does that mean?
so when you get, it's called non-judicial punishment.
Okay.
So they can literally do whatever they want to you. And I was like, one of the punishments, like they can take away your rank, your pay, they can give you extra ship duties like I was doing. Actually, interesting fact, on ship, a punishment still today that has never been abolished is you can give someone bread and water as a punishment for up to 30 days. And,
Wow.
And me being me, I was like, give me bread and water for 30 days, I'll be fine.
They gave you bread and water?
No. I was like requesting that.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, let's do that. Like, don't take away my rank, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying is I was trying to get out of the unit is because I got burned hard. They crucified me. They made an example of me. They're like, no one else on ship is going to mess with their NCO like this.
Yeah.
And so they took away my rank. They took away my pay. So every paycheck for like 6 months was half pay. And then since I used, there's this thing called Marine Corps Martial Arts. And
How's that go?
dude, any of our white belts would fuck up one of their black belts.
Okay. All right.
I
That's
mean,
out of the words of Mike Murray, not myself.
Just because it's like based on combative moves, whereas like you get to the ground and it's like about like, killing the enemy
Sure.
rather than like submitting the enemy in a way.
Right.
Right. So anyway, they took away my rank, took away my pay. And then I used a McMat move, quote unquote, which was their McMat move. They said I used was a leg sweep.
Okay.
So they took away my belt level as well. And the belt level I had was the belt level you have in boot camp. Because when you go to boot camp, you don't have a McMat belt. You don't earn that at all.
Yeah.
So it's like you prestiged without even getting to the highest rank, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So I had this like web belt is what it was called. And all these higher ups are starting to see this. And they're like, what are you doing? Where's your McMat belt? Like trying to correct me on my uniform. And I was like, no, I just got AJP'd. Like, I don't have a belt. They're like, yes, you do. I'm like, no, I literally don't have a belt. Like, I got to take it away. Like, go talk to the colonel if you really want to start this.
Yeah.
And then when I would say that, they'd be like, oh, you're that guy.
Oh,
And I was
no.
like,
Oh,
damn.
you're that guy.
So got off deployment with a couple bumps and bruises, just mentally, honestly. And I was like, I got to get out of this unit. I got to go do something worth my time. I had 2 years left on my contract. I was like, I'm not just going to sit here after 9 months and just let it waste away.
Right.
So I was walking into my platoon sergeant's office like every day, just like, is there anybody that's going to take me? Like, can I go to a grunt unit? Whatever. And they're like, nope, like no one's going to take you. But it was because of my paperwork.
Right.
And on paper, I looked so bad, obviously, like, getting in a physical altercation with your superior and, this and that. So I didn't look good at all on paper. And looking good on paper is almost better than, who you are
Right.
to a lot of them.
Wait, before I hate to interrupt, but what was it like after you saw that corporal again? Because you guys are on the ship, so it's not like
all my superiors. So I said he was a superior just because he was a corporal, but like all of my superiors in my section were like, dude, we would have dealt with you in house. You'd have probably had a couple more things to do on your list, and then that would have been it. I was definitely shunned for the rest of deployment, though. Like,
Even your boys couldn't fuck with you.
yeah, it was one of those things.
That
like,
sucks,
your
man.
your boys couldn't fuck with you.
Oh, man.
I was talking about Dubai.
They like poured out a little bit of milk
When-
for you every day. R.I.P. Mike.
when we showed up to Dubai, they were like, "You're not getting off. You got to stay here." So I stayed there, and then our AC ran out, and so it was like 110 on ship, just rotting away for like 10 days. But it is what it is. So
Right.
So I get out of that unit, just because I was on the range one day, and my platoon sergeant called me, and I'm like, "Oh my god, my room's clean. I don't have anything bad in my room. Like."
The fuck is this
Yeah,
about?
like, because they can walk in your room at any moment of the time, any moment of the day, no matter what, no questions asked, and just come in and, like, inspect your stuff.
right.
And so I was like, what are they calling me for? And I almost didn't answer. And then my platoon sergeant just like, hey, you got to tell me in 3 seconds if you want to go to a grunt unit. They need a radio operator for the next deployment. And I was just like, I knew nothing about the unit. I knew nothing about where we were going or what we were doing. I was like, yep. Got off the range, packed my stuff, and then 2 weeks later went to 2-2, and then, it was all better. When I checked in, I had a couple side-eye from people, but
Because they knew your record, and they're like,
Well,
that's that motherfucker
saw
that'll
me-
pop a corporal in the head.
they saw me check in, and they were like, why are you a PFC, but you just did a deployment? Like, that was
Yeah.
over 9 months. So, like, you get rank and time and things like
Sure.
that. So
It didn't add up. So they're like,
Exactly.
you obviously
So I got-
fucked up somewhere.
I got
along the
questioned a
lines.
lot, but I felt like I had to prove myself a lot as well. And I think that made me a better Marine in person because I kind of had a chip on my shoulder, but it wasn't a chip.
You carry with you every day.
Sometimes. Okay, maybe you're right. But I just, was like there to prove like I am not this person that you see on paper.
Yeah.
So I went on my second deployment on like just a special embassy mission in Africa. Some embassy got overran in like 2008 maybe.
Damn.
And they were like, you 20 Marines have gotten selected for this team, and we're going to drop you down here in this country, and you're going to have to reestablish, everything, so then we can start bringing U.S. ambassadors back in, essentially.
Wow.
And so that was the most eye-opening experience of my life.
Yeah, that's intense.
It was the worst experience of my life and the most stressful, but I'm extremely grateful for who I was there with now. And it was like I said in the beginning, at the time you're doing it, you hate everything about it.
Yeah.
You hate your life, just anything and everything. But now you look back and you're so thankful. And, I was talking about experiencing cultures and things like that. Man, when we showed up there, I could not believe my eyes. I thought I was like, we're on another planet.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just on another planet. And it was a huge war zone going on, and there was a ton of turmoil going on in the country. And we show up to this embassy, and we just have to kind of roll with it and figure it out,
Yeah.
And there was only 2 radio operators on deployment, me and another guy named Zero. And so
Joker and Zero.
Joker and Zero.
I like
yeah.
that. That's
Did they still call you Joker at this point?
No, so I got called
He's
the
a
Joker.
nuisance.
I got called the Joker when I got my EGA at the end of boot camp. So like at the end of boot camp, you do like this 3-day stint.
Yeah.
Like no sleep, food, whatever. It's actually like super fun, and they line up. It's like your graduation ceremony for boot camp in a way, and you get your EGA, your Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, which is our emblem, and all these kids are next to me like crying and in formation, like just bawling their eyes out and whatnot, and I'm sitting there just like, hell yeah, we did it, like thank God, and I've been like kind of had a smirk on my face, and that's when I got the name the Joker or the Jokester, is because my platoon or my drill instructor like gave my thing, he's like, oh, it's the Joker. He's like, you're not crying like one of these bitches, why not? He's like, you don't care about this? I was like, no, sir, I'm just ready to get this stuff over with, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, it means something to me, but I'm not going to cry about it.
Right.
Right.
So, my second deployment, eye-opener. It was awesome training and things like that. And then that was that. I mean, it was just so humbling when I came back. Just sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing, is like just how thankful I am for where I'm at and what I have. And in America, that's a hard thing to do at times, is, because you always want that, you always want that next thing, that next iPhone or whatever in some, in some way or another. And over there it was like, bro, we don't care what you have. Like, just be a good person.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was a super cool thing to kind of learn and see, which I am very thankful that I had that experience in my life now. But at the time, no thanks.
Nothing to do with
No.
it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man.
Fuck all that noise.
Yeah, no way. And then it was about it.
So wrapped up Marines, and then you're like, you know what? Let's go over to the UFC.
Yeah, right. No, I wrapped up the Marines. I got out, and it was a very big culture shock, because in the Marines, you have this mentality to always be the best, no matter what it is. It could be the first to tie your shoes the fastest or put your uniform on the fastest. Everything you do is with speed and intensity.
Is that the Marines did that, or you're just like that naturally? Because I feel like that's how
No,
you just are.
Honestly,
Like your first day in the gym, you wanted to challenge everybody.
that's just how we were like brainwashed, man.
Yeah.
It was always like, oh, they're the best at this. Go after them until you can beat them. Kind of
Always
thing.
strive to be the best.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, you know, you can't do that, but they can. So learn from them or go with them until you can do that kind of thing. So got out of the Marines, and the first, 4 months, you're like, oh, I'm free. You're like, I don't have to do this stupid stuff anymore and whatnot. And then it just got real bad, real quick. Because you have this persona in the Marines, and it's like what you've done. You kind of have some street cred, and I guess you could say, and you're just with your boys
Right.
all the time. Like you're just with your best friends at 20 years old. You have no bills to worry about. You're just shooting guns, training in the miserable environment and rain and snow and whatever it is, and you're just held to a higher standard. And then you get out and you realize, other people around you don't have that expectation of themselves even. So
Yeah.
it kind of like bothers you in a way.
Yep.
And you're like, why?
Wow.
You're like, why are you're so much better than what you're giving yourself?
Yeah.
Is how I see it. It's like, you can do so much more.
Well, I never looked at it that way. Obviously, I never had that perspective going in and out of the military, but I guess and I'll speak about myself. I'm okay with being adequate or just being like doing just enough,
Yeah.
as opposed to when you're around in jiu-jitsu or striking, like whatever we're doing or whatever skill you're trying to develop,
Mm-hmm.
you want to be the best.
Yeah. And if you're not, you get with who's the best and have them train you
That
and
makes-
show you, because you should try to expect the best from yourself at all times. Is just how we were,
No, and that's
So-
like I said, I don't have that military mindset, and I really, now it's different. Now I'm getting older and I have kids now, but through my 20s, I didn't have that mindset. I was like, oh, okay, I did just enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know what you're saying. So I get out and I feel so disconnected from the world because of that. And I think a lot of veterans struggle with that part, is like, you have this huge disconnection from the world in a way, and you don't know really what to do with yourself. And I think a lot of my buddies, that struggle with that, you got to just say, hey, like, just keep pushing forward. It's going to be all right, kind of thing. So get out, and just became like, honestly, just really depressed. Things were not going my way, whether that be relationships. I think I was drinking Monday through Sunday, just as much as I
Did you
could.
drink a lot when you were in the Marines?
Yeah, but we drank socially, and we would
Right.
drink a ton every night and get up at 5 a.m. and go run 10 miles, but it was like normal.
Yeah.
But then you get out and you do that, and you're not getting up at 5 a.m. with your best friends to go train. So you're just drinking and waking up hungover, and then going to work or school or whatever, and then you're doing it again. And then you just get caught in this rabbit hole, and
yeah.
you just keep going down. And so I had tried, getting out of the funk. Nothing worked. Like, it was dark time in my life, and I just wasn't finding my niche, I guess you
What-
could say.
What ultimately, like, what was the biggest thing that you think was dragging you down? Was it just your friends that were just like, Kansas
Yep.
City's the greatest place and we don't ever need to leave?
It was, but I wasn't like mad at my friends, because I wasn't. So a lot of military people, the thing that bothers me is whether they're in still or out, they're like, you have to respect me because I'm a veteran or because I was in the military. And it's like, no, if you're a dick or you're a piece of shit, I'm not going to respect you. I don't care
Right.
what
Right.
you've done, right? And so I hate that mentality.
Yeah. I respect that a lot. Yeah.
I hate that mentality so much. It's like, just be a good person, and then you're gonna, you'll be liked. But
Yeah.
don't be a dickhead just because you did X
You don't
amount
get
of-
a pass because of X,
Nope.
Y, Z.
Exactly.
Right.
You don't get a pass. So I wasn't really holding my friends accountable, and because they didn't understand, like my high school buddies and whatnot, because they didn't understand, because that's not their job, and two, I can't be mad at them because they haven't experienced that stuff either, so they can't see through my eyes or understand.
Right.
So I think that was another thing playing on to all this. And then, I went to try to go to school, and it just wasn't my thing, and work, and tried all these different odd jobs when I first got out. And, you're kind of figuring out the world, but you're figuring it out when all your other friends are like graduating college at the time, because you're like 23, 24 when you get out or so. So all your friends are getting out of college with these good degrees and whatnot. And you're just getting out the Marines.
Yeah.
So like you don't really have this awesome resume that you're going to land this nice job with or anything like that.
Right.
But all your friends are. So you're just kind of like, man, like, that just puts another thing on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So I wasn't holding my friends accountable for this at first, like for maybe 10 seconds of my life I did. And then I was like, bro, they don't know what you're
Like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, they don't know what you're going through. Like, suck it the fuck up.
Yeah.
How long did the depression last? And do you think that was like hand in hand with just the drinking? Now you're hungover, and now you have no.
I think it was a mix of everything, man.
Yeah.
I think it was a mix of like feeling disconnected, missing my friends from the Marines, people not being able to understand. When someone can't understand you, it's a really tough place to be.
It's frustrating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super frustrating. So it lasted for 6 months, maybe longer. And like I remember I was just staying in contact with my friends as much as I could and trying to travel and see them and whatever it was. But I had just been terribly drinking all the time.
Was it just alcohol?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of weed, but like nothing more.
But you never fuck with pills. You were-
No, because I had buddies that had messed with pills, like when they got out and then, they overdosed or, it led them
Right.
to worse things. So I kind of, it actually like scared me. So, yeah, it was just alcohol, weed, whatnot, but it was never anything more than that. And then that's how I got put into here. And biggest blessing of my life is this gym.
How I got put in here. You make it sound like you went to jail or something.
Did you discover it, or was someone like what
So-
made you? Because like I was in love with the UFC.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And then I signed up for Gracie, and so what led you here?
Yeah, no, I was never really big into fighting. Like when I was in the military, like fighting was cool. I would watch it, but I didn't care if it was Uriah Faber and Mike Brown or, Tito and Chuck. It was just whoever's fighting.
Two
is
human
fighting.
beings.
Exactly. I never cared, and I never understood it at all. I was just like, let's just see a nice brawl tonight.
Yeah.
So, I saw an old wrestling. So in the military, you're always challenging yourself and whatnot. So I saw an old wrestling coach at the bar, and I was like, man, I need to get active again. I don't like going to the gym, like lifting weights. I'm just bored of it. I was just bored. I did it in the Marines every single day,
Right.
and you just with these huge dudes, like I don't have that big frame like a lot of those guys
Yeah.
have, So I didn't really have like any ambition to do that. And so I was with this old wrestling coach, saw him at a bar randomly, and I was like, hey, you think I can get back in the wrestling room by chance and this and that? And he's like, yeah, maybe. You kind of left on bad terms, but, we'll see.
How'd you leave on bad terms?
No, when I was going into the military, they kept having me pull out. Like I couldn't go to practices and things like that.
Oh.
because,
Okay, because of like
because-
whatever you had going on.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So like I had to do all this paperwork and go, do all this stuff at times.
Sure.
So I left on bad terms my senior year just because my coach was like, dude, why were you gone for 3 days in a row? But I didn't know I was going to be gone for 3 days in a row. My recruiter just called me. He's like, hey, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So I would just miss. So he's like, you kind of left on bad terms, but we'll see what we can do. And then I got started thinking about it. I was like, I'm not going to be able to compete. I'm just going to go there and be a wrestling partner. Like, I'm not going to be able to compete. I'm definitely not trying out for the USA team.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be able to do anything.
Also, you should have told that coach like, hey man, it's been 5 years.
Yeah,
You gotta let
exactly.
some shit go.
Yeah, for sure.
For real.
Yeah, but I don't know. So I kind of got, thinking about it, and then I didn't live too far away from the old gym at the time, and I just walked in randomly.
Would you just Google like MMA gyms near me?
Yeah, that's what I think I did, and then my buddy had been lifting at the old Impact gym, and he's like, hey, there's an MMA gym up there. You should go try it out. And I like walked in there, and I just saw Matt and Zach, And I mean, I didn't. It was like a Thursday. It was just randomly. you
Yeah.
know? And I walked in and they like gave me the schedule, and then, that was that. But I think that's why I had so much trouble as a teammate at first.
Because you came in like an asshole.
Yeah, but I was a wrestler, and you know how it is in the wrestling room. Like, you're just grinding all day.
So you come in like an asshole
And
when
then,
you try MMA. Got it.
And then in the Marines, like, you do their martial arts program, or anything you did was just with like pure intensity and the intent to mitigate the enemy as much as possible and neutralize them.
Yeah.
Right. So I come into this gym, and I had researched it, obviously, and I see this UFC fighter in here, and I'm like, oh shit. So I go to jiu-jitsu first class. Probably could have done a little bit better.
You don't say.
I could have definitely been
To
a
be
better.
fair, you did jiu-jitsu for the longest time. You never did Muay Thai or the actual MMA program, because I remember talking to you about it. And you're like, yeah, no, I like jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, I always told myself for the longest time I would never fight. I was like, that's dumb. I would never do that. That is so stupid. And I would tell Tyler that, or anybody else. I was like, that I'll go watch it. I support it fully, but I would never do that. And
I think I remember talking to you about it
Yeah,
back in the day, back when you had that mentality.
I was just like, I would never do this ever. And then I started doing jiu-jitsu, but my thing was like competing. And I love just competing and pushing myself mentally and physically to the highest level that I can push my body.
You and Tyler still need to roll for that belt.
That's his belt. He beat me fair and
You
square.
guys got to roll for it.
I would love to. I might need to just go earn my own one day. But man, when Tyler won that belt, low-key, I was super jealous. I'm like,
Oh, I know you were. It killed you inside. And you had to ride home with him?
Oh, because it was like a 3-hour ride from Iowa, and Tyler's just holding this belt in the front, and I'm like,
I'd have been like, call me champ.
oh.
So
man.
for the people, they went to a tournament, and one of his, I can say close friends, right?
Tyler?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Trout, a phenomenal jiu-jitsu player.
Shout out Tyler Trout, too.
Who,
Loyal listener of the podcast.
That's my guy.
Who you guys developed a friendship in. It was like peanut butter and jelly in the sense that you guys just complimented each other and helped elevate each other's games.
Yeah. At first, it started out as a competition because we both. I think he started like a month before me or whatever. Like, it was super close. So we knew we were both like very close in like where we started at. And so it started out as like, how many times you could beat so-and-so or submit so-and-so a week or, over the course of a month or whatever, right? And then we just started slowly like creating this chemistry that, he would show. He's very technical.
Mm-hmm.
And I am more of like a pressure individual, I guess you could say. And so we just kind of started bouncing ideas and bouncing everything off of each other. And then we would go compete. He was the only one from the team that would go compete with me, though. We went to Wichita, we went to Iowa, and cleaned house up there. We went to, Wichita and did perfect out there. And then did all the local tournaments. And I was just kind of getting bored with it. Like,
So then you were like, let's hit a motherfucker.
well, not, yeah, in a way, I was just kind of like, in jiu-jitsu, obviously, gaining that next rank is going to take a while. So you're going to be competing with the same people you are at local tournaments, or, unless you go to like an IBJJF tournament, but you're spending a ton of money just to go do those tournaments and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let's try to physically challenge yourself somewhere else. And I had told Zach I wanted to take a fight. And this is at the old gym. I was like, I want to take a fight. And Zach's like, you need to come do this and that. I came into like one Tuesday class, got my shit rocked.
Yeah.
Eugene beat the fuck out of me. Oh my God. And I remember I left and I was like, I'll never fight. And then a month later, I came back in on a Tuesday and like I took a liver shot from Zach, and I thought that,
The world was ending.
that was the end of my life. I was like, well, thank God my will's right. Like, I didn't understand it. I didn't, I couldn't comprehend it as well
Yeah.
as jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu in my mind is just like a puzzle in a way. Not like Clay's mind. You know how Clay is.
Yeah.
You could show Clay one thing and he's got it. He's got it like that, And so I was just kind of like discouraged with it all. And then kept doing jiu-jitsu for a little bit, and then I had another talk with Zach, and he's like, hey, this is what you got to do. And he's like, it's going to suck, but you're going to have to do this if you want to fight for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And, you know, I like Tyler as a teammate because he holds you, you know, to who you are. So if you're going to say you're going to do something, just do it, you know, and he'll call you out.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like you. Brian will definitely call you out if you say you're going to do something or anything like that. Brian will let you know, like, hey, remember when you said that? So Tyler's like, man, you said you're going to do that? Like, put your nose to the grindstone and get after it. And then after that, like, took the first fight. And, Lord, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
We were all a little nervous.
We were all a little nervous, and then when I saw his foot movement, I was like, oh, no.
No, yeah. So Zach goes, oh, yeah, he's done a couple Muay Thai things, but nothing big. And I'm backstage with Tyler, and I look over, and
He starts hitting pads,
we're
right?
like lined up to go. Yeah, this guy's been hitting pads his whole
He's
life.
like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
So I see him throwing these like dope combos, honestly. Like they were sick combos. And I'm thinking, I look at Tyler. I guess Tyler, I kind of like blacked out, you know, that adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
And I had asked Tyler at one point, like, what the fuck are we doing? I guess, you know, and I was super nervous because I see this guy throwing these different combos, and Zach was like, oh yeah, he's done some Muay Thai and this and that. You'll be all right. So I'm like, man, I'm about to get pieced up in front of all my boys who came out.
It's
to
disturbing.
My
It's very eerie whenever you're going in for your first fight and you're nervous as fuck, and your coach is just like, hey, he's done it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's uneasy when you're like, how the fuck are you so calm right now?
Yes, exactly.
Why aren't you a nervous wreck like I am?
So calm.
Zach's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
He's like, you'll be good. And then he throws this capoeira kick, right? I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Throws this nasty kick. And then I'm next to go into the cage or something like that. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get knocked out in front of all my boys. all my coworkers came out here. You know, family members, everybody.
There's a live stream.
There's a live stream. Yeah, all my Marines,
I was at work watching.
all my Marines are hitting me up like, don't fuck up, like don't, you know, lose this and that.
I was fucking there backstage. I was watching.
Oh God. So I mean, we got lucky, I guess you'd say. Listened to Zach. The rounds went way faster than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling after it was over was like no feeling I ever really felt except being in the military in a way.
So you finally found that golden ticket. You found that gold nugget.
Yeah, exactly, man. And so I found that golden ticket, and then at first I kind of was doing it for like a bucket list thing. Like, let's just, you know.
Say we had a fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just do it on your bucket
Then you did it, and you're like, give me another one. Give me another one.
Yeah, and then I was like, whoa, I need to do that again. And I was like, let's just see if that was a fluke, you know? Like, let's see if that was a fluke. You never know, like, whatever. So then we took the next one. And then that's what I feel like has elevated my mind and game to a whole nother level. Because, like we were saying earlier, you can be good at the ground or on the hands or wherever. But if you fight somebody that's equally as good as you at that same thing, then what do you have?
Right.
So you have to, it's a chess match. So that's why I've been working so diligently with Phil and Nick. And man, they probably get so annoyed with me. I'll be sending them combos. Phil will send me different Muay Thai videos all the time. I'm still like learning a lot of it. It's kind of slowly making its way in my brain. Phil, it's not fair. It just goes together like clay and jiu-jitsu, you know? Phil just understands it.
I think all you guys kind of have that, you know, that work ethic that you think is annoying, but I think it's what elevates the team overall, especially when you know, that group gets together and you guys are working on combos, hitting pads. That's what it takes to elevate, because, you know, Zach, as great of a coach as he is, Zach also has his own career at the moment, that he has to prepare for, so Zach can't be there.
Yeah,
100% of the time.
and a bunch of other students and his
Yeah.
own family and his own fight camp. So I had, I was a little disgruntled actually about that. And then I had realized just use your resources.
Right.
They're in the gym with you every day,
Yeah.
every single day. They're in the gym with you. Why not use Phil's striking knowledge that he has, or Eugene, or whoever it is, wherever you lack, pick that person's brain where they're strong at and see where you can improve on your game. And that's what I've been slowly trying to do, as well as my cardio. Second fight, gassed out 30 seconds.
Like 30 seconds?
Dude, it was bad. I gassed out because I clipped him. I clipped that kid, and I just saw his eyes go.
And unloaded everything.
Everything I had. And I had never done that or experienced that or anything like that in training. So I just unloaded everything
You
that I
didn't
had
realize what you were doing until it was too late.
in the gas tank.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he like slowly comes to, and my arms were just done.
Not there.
And my adrenaline, because when I saw him, when I had knocked him down, my adrenaline just skyrockets.
Yeah.
And then I saw him recover, and my adrenaline just goes and plummets, along with my cardio and my arms and everything. And so then after that, like I realized this is where I need to focus on, is my cardio. And I got a strength and conditioning coach now, and a nutritionist, because my first 2 weight cuts were super bad.
Yeah.
And so I got a nutritionist, and he's also my strength and conditioning coach. We do 2-a-days now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so anywhere I can improve my game or improve myself, I'm working on that. And I'm very patient in the process. I've got such great mentors in here, like David. He's like, dude, be patient. Don't.
Wait, who's David?
Oh my, I'm about to walk off. No, but David's a great mentor and teammate to me, and he's like, man, just be patient with all this. Don't rush it. Your time will come if this is what it's meant to be. So I think another big thing about it is just not rushing the process. And if Zach says, hey, we're going to take this fight, we take it. If Zach says, hey, they offered you this, but I'm not really too comfortable with it right now, let's wait a little bit. Okay, then that's what the coach says.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm improving where I can for the time being. So strength and conditioning and nutrition is the number one thing, I think, because, man, I eat like shit.
Don't we all, though? I fucking love eating like shit.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw in the beginning of the episode me trying to get in the chair, but I get it.
It's just, you get out of training, and sometimes you just
Want to indulge?
want a pizza
You just want a pizza.
and a shake.
And then before you realize it, you're doing that 3 times a week.
Yep. And then it's just a slow cycle.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I got to make weight in 2 weeks?
Yep.
Not what I should be doing.
So speaking of making weight, your next bout.
Yeah, you have an opponent coming up. Do you know anything about your opponent? Do you like looking up your opponents, or are you just like, let's go?
Let's go keep it gangster and do me.
I am one of those guys that looks it up, and I will know everything about you. And I do that in jiu-jitsu. When they come out with the brackets, I'll know how many tournaments you won, where you competed, who you're under.
Oh, you're excessive.
Well, I just like to know what I'm getting myself into. So if I'm going against a 10th Planet guy at a jiu-jitsu tournament, I know right away he's going to pull rubber guard, and he's going to try different things than if you were facing someone from like Gracie Baja, right?
Yeah.
So I'm one of those guys that like really looks in depth into that, but I don't let it like mess with my head in a way. But so I did that for my first 2 fights, and then watch as much film and whatnot as you can, and try to have training partners that emulate their style and whatnot, as best they can. They're still super young in the game, so it's not like you're bringing like training partners in here, like trying to emulate anybody.
Right.
Why do I think you're 3-0?
Huh?
That's crazy. I thought you had 3 fights.
Yeah, I'm 3-0.
Okay.
What?
Did you just get what happened then?
I
Did you
could
have a
swear you
stroke?
just said 2. Yeah.
No, I said my first 2 fights.
Okay.
Sorry. No, you're good. My first 2 fights, I was like real deep into, researching them and whatnot. And then for my third, I was like, you know what? Let's not research anything. Let's just see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And not research a thing. Zach had told me a couple things about the guy, but we'll be fine. Sure enough, I should have researched him
3 rounds later.
because this guy shows up, and when we go to weigh in, he showed up in, I think he showed up in like a Kronos shirt. And if you guys don't know, that's who Zach got his black belt under. That's the head instructor there, right? Is that
Leo? Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Okay, don't want to misspeak on that. So,
It's
anyways,
the affiliation as well.
yeah, okay. So he shows up in a Kronos shirt. We weigh in, and the kid bows to me. And I thought I was going against a Muay Thai guy. And usually that like traditional martial arts side is more of like the jiu-jitsu stuff, right? So we're at weigh-in squaring off, and he bows to me. And then right then, I like freaked out mentally. I was like, oh my God. Because the second opponent I had, that kid was cocky, and I saw it as like a challenge. Like this kid,
Yeah.
he won state in wrestling, and is a collegiate wrestler.
See, I would think you would have the exact opposite reaction though. Dude rolls up with a Kronos shirt and he's got the jiu-jitsu and he's bowing. I'd be like, pull guard, bitch! I dare you.
Not me. I think it was more like the respect thing though. The Kronos thing didn't really freak me out that bad.
Yeah.
It was more of the fact that he wasn't up there like trying to be, a wannabe Conor McGregor. He was just, he bowed in, and that was that. And that right there like struck with me. And
Did you shake his hand or anything?
No, he bowed, and when he bowed, I was like, I got like frozen in the moment, and I was like, and I like kind of half bowed to him, and then we turned and faced the crowd.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I wasn't expecting that. So when that happened, I didn't research him at all, and then obviously didn't sleep at all because super nervous on who this guy is now. And then we get out there, and he weighed in, and he was just physically way stronger than I was.
Yeah.
At 55, way better of an athlete, I felt like. So mentally, I was freaking out. And Nick Grass and Phil White, man, they took the blunt force of me just like backstage. I couldn't get in the zone.
Freaking out. They were probably like, shut up and stop being such a little bitch.
Exactly. That's exactly what they said. They're like, why are you bitching out? Like, come on now. So I was like trying to hit pads, couldn't get in the zone. Like I just knew right then and there, like I was just not in it. And I don't know what it was, but I couldn't get myself mentally there. Physically, I felt so good. I was doing 2-a-days. I had worked on my nutrition and cardio. I made weight, no problem. But mentally, not there. And then I won off like rear naked choke. And when I won, I just kind of like rolled over in the video, and I was like I honestly couldn't believe it. I was like, thank God that was over. There's a picture of me like just hugging Nick right after the fight inside the cage. And I was like, thank God that's over, bro.
Glad we're done here.
Exactly. So.
But the next one you got coming up.
Oh yeah, back to that. Sorry. Jeez, way off topic.
You're fine.
Yeah, so the next one is July 27th against another undefeated fighter.
So have you done like research on this guy since you like to do research?
Yeah, I know where he trains jiu-jitsu. I know a little bit of his flaws. He posts his training videos online, which is a huge mistake, I feel like, at the amateur level, because at the amateur level, if you can point out somebody's flaws and your coach can pick those flaws out, you're just going to train to,
attack those flaws. And then you're good. It doesn't matter physically how they are compared to you in a way. Mm-hmm.
We'll be fine, I think. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good test all around. And we've been in fight camp since like February, so physically I'm good. So, because, we fought in April? Yeah, we fought in April, so started in February.
Yeah, it was
and
April.
Then took that thing in April, and then took like a week off, and then got back into it. And Zach's like, some things fell through with other teammates. And I got lucky and got on, got another fight, and things just started falling into place. And then same with this one. Nick Grass is, probably going to do bigger and better things. And so I'm going to take on this guy. And I've got full faith in my coaches and teammates. And I think we putting in the work to get where we need to go. But no matter what happens at the end of the day, I'm very thankful just to be in here. We're learning a lot. I mean, think of when I first started striking. Brian popped me in the face super hard one day, and I was so mad at you.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Why?
We were like drilling, and I didn't even know how to defend myself.
Oh, yeah.
Drilling.
That's Brian.
Bro, he popped me with like a 4, and it just hits me square in the face. And I was like, what was that for? And he's like, keep your hands up, dog. And I was like, what? What are you? Come on, we're just drilling.
Wait,
He's like,
say that again. How do you say it?
keep your hands up, dog.
Keep your hands up, dog. Keep your fucking hands up.
So,
It's making you better.
yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody is in here. But,
That's how I learned, though. The motherfucker hit me in the face. It was like, I did the exact same thing. I was like, the fuck was that? They're like, keep your hands up.
Not during drilling, but I get it.
there's some people that drill in here, and I'm like, are you going to be able to walk tomorrow?
Yeah. The first time that happened to me, I was hitting mitts with a coach. This was in St. Louis.
Really?
Yeah. Fucking pop. Hit me right in the nose.
You weren't expecting it?
No, well, he hit me with the mitt in the nose.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Screw
Yeah.
that.
That's fine.
Just like in that last fight where it takes Brian just one punch to get going.
Yeah, I got to get punched to go.
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah.
But that's irrelevant. Fuck that. You're the one with the fight coming
Yeah,
up
you're the
July
one with the fight.
27th.
KCFA.
KCFA.
I'm excited for you, man. Where do you see yourself heading? Like, I mean, you got that rush now. You found that love that you had back in the Marines of the challenge that you need. Is this a career? So far, like, let's say you go and hopefully you do. You guess you maybe you have some battles or you don't, but let's go. Say you go 7-0, 8-0. Is this a career?
This is how I've said it all along in I guess you could say the fight game, right? For myself personally, is I'm gonna take it as far as I can go, and as far as my coaches will let me and believe in me. So if we get to the pro side or even the top of the AMI side, but that transition we don't really feel too comfortable with, and that's where we stop. My whole thing is when I'm a certain age, when I'm 55 years old one day, I want to be able to look back and be like, I did everything I could to try and chase this dream.
What do you mean? You're not still going to be fighting at 55?
No, I'm not Yoel Romero, bro.
Oh, shit. That might be a real thing soon.
Yeah. So I'm not saying like I'm going to go to UFC or fight in Bellator or whatever.
No, but
I'm just going to push myself as far as I can go, and I'm going to do my very best that I can at all times. And also, I take great pride and honor, like wearing glory on my shorts when I walk in that cage. Like motherfuckers around this like regional circuit, no, if you got glory shorts on, like you train with some killers. So you're coming out for blood.
right.
You're not coming from one of these home gyms.
This Marine's coming out. Hold on.
Sorry.
Take it easy, guy. Easy.
But you're not coming from one of these home gyms or anything like that. You train with legit, fighters and athletes on a daily basis. So the expectation is that much higher, I feel like. So I would love, to go as high as I could go with it. But at the same time, there's also, you have to be realistic with this as well. This is a brutal sport. This is a brutal game. And, all the stars could align. And then God forbid, get hurt or have a terrible injury or something like that, catastrophic injury or whatever it is, right? So I'm just going with it as far as I can go and pushing myself to the furthest limits that I can. I don't want to ever walk into that cage and be like, oh, I lost that fight, but I didn't put 110% into that camp, so that's why I lost that fight.
Yeah.
I want to lose a fight because I put 120% into that camp, and that guy was just a better fighter that night than I was. That's how I see it.
Fair enough.
So, wherever we go with it, I'm just thankful because it's already been an awesome journey.
Damn, man. Well,
There it is.
there it is. I got you to say. Good luck to you and your career, and I'm hopefully we're all around for it. I think it's exciting to see you grow amongst the other amateurs that are turning pro and the fighters that are coming up in this gym. In Glory and that Glory staff, I only expect great things from you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love that. Now it's nice to know the mindset, where you get that mindset from, the discipline from that Marine background, and always being the best or wanting.
Yeah, and I knew
working
if
towards it.
I came into the gym and was like, kind of, I guess you could say, like, shared my story in a way, a lot of people are gonna be like, bro, shut up, let's roll. Kind of, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really have, like, I wouldn't say I didn't have time to explain myself, but it took a little bit for people to really understand, like, oh, this is Mike's background on why he is like this. You know, because day one through what? Yeah, 6 months maybe.
You're like the guy that would shoot first and ask questions later. You're that guy.
Sometimes.
That's how it was for us. We just had to figure out. We were like, oh, okay, that's why he's like that. All
yeah.
right.
But at the same time, this is the most humbling thing I've ever done, because there's people in here that are half my size that, you know, beat me on a daily basis, mentally and physically, and show me what it's like to really, you know, continue to keep pushing even on your bad days. And that's the one thing that I think that's another thing that's really attracted me to this gym, and staying here, was just that team mentality, and that mentality of, like, in the Marines, like, we're all, yeah, we have in-house rivalries or competitions and things like that, but at the end of the day, we're all representing the same place, and we're all going towards our goals.
Yeah.
And so I love that about our gym, is everyone is here to help each other. And I think that's so awesome, because I hear people from other gyms that tell me stories, and I'm like, wow, why are you still there? Like, those guys are just trying to knock your teeth out every night. You're not even learning. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not saying that's a bad thing every night. You know, you got to learn the hard way every now and again. But at the same time, you got to learn how to throw a punch before just getting your teeth knocked in all the time.
For sure.
So
I agree.
Well, I think that's about it for us peoples. We got to be wrapping this bad boy up. We got Mr. Mike Murray,
thanks for
July
having me.
27th on KCFA.
Big
You wanna
fight.
Plug the IG and all of that stuff for the people, so that way you can get your
Um,
follows. If you need tickets,
Hit
that's
me
the
up.
guy to hit up.
Mike Murray01 on Instagram.
Mike Murray01 on Instagram. There it is. Slide in the DMs if you want the tickets. He's got you all day. What is it, 20, 30 for GA?
Something like that. Yeah,
30, something like that for GA. VIP's 50.
50.
You have to come back sometime soon, and we'll talk about hopefully have some more Marine stories, and we can talk about, you know, some things outside of fighting. I appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
For sure.
Appreciate it.
All right. Until next time, guys. Love, peace, chicken grease.
All right, bye.
You don't have an exit? You can say bye.
I threw this up.
Huh? You just threw up.